I'm concerned about the Earth.
You're concerned about the Earth?
Yes.
More than usual?
Yes.
Because of this podcast?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So before we get started, you've heard of the Anthropocene, right? I know you have. You definitely have. We've certainly mentioned it before on the episode or on the podcast. So there's this debate right now over whether we've entered a new geological age.
Oh, right.
From the one to the Anthropocene.
Yeah.
Right? I really wish I could remember what the current one is, because people are going to write in and be like, it's this.
Yeah.
A million times over, which thank you everybody for writing. I don't mean to sound but the idea is that we've entered this period. Some people place it starting at the Industrial Revolution. A lot of people place it more at 1950, when there was apparently a huge spike in the presence of humanity from radioactivity, plastics, all this stuff in the environment as a whole. So where our presence has so muddied the geological record that we've effectively come up with a new age, a new geological age, the Anthropocene, the age of humans.
Right.
So one of the factors that people point to that suggests that we're changing the natural geological record.
We're leaving the Holocene.
Thank you, Charles.
Sure.
So the idea that we are altering what the natural course of the Holocene, or the course it would have taken had humans never been around. One of the ways we're doing that is by shuffling species from one environment to another, from one ecosystem to another, where they've never been before, probably never would have ended up, at least not in any of our lifetimes. And that they are altering those ecosystems in radical new ways, such that when those things fossilize, those ecosystems become fossilized and can be studied, hundreds of thousands or millions of years hence. Archaeologists would be pretty puzzled by what they were finding.
Yeah.
And that's the basis of the idea that we should be calling this the Anthropocene.
Wow. Now I'm scared.
That was my goal.
Well done.
Thank you.
All right. So what we're talking about is invasive species. And I'm surprised we hadn't done this one.
I was too. I went back and double checked, and I don't think we did. And I remembered what episode. I remember it was the Beagle Brigade.
Oh.
We talked a lot about invasive species in the Beagle Brigade episode.
That's right. And we may have even said we should do one on that. So
if so, wish fulfilled.
So what we're talking about is invasive species. This can be any type of, it's not necessarily a plant or just an animal. It could be seeds. It could be eggs. It can even be a disease, right? Or a fungus.
Sure. Yeah. A pathogen, a pest, a predator, a plant, it could be anything.
Yeah. Any kind of living organism that's not native to a singular or a particular ecosystem.
Right. And the How Stuff Works article kind of leaves it at that, but the, National Wildlife Federation article that you found, I think really kind of drives home that there's like an extra couple factors involved, right?
Yeah.
Because you can have a non-native species that we actually kind of like European honeybees. They're a non-native species here in the United States, but we're crazy for the pollinating they do.
It doesn't always wreck things.
Right. And the honey that they make, rice is not a native crop here in the United States, but people love rice. So just being non-native isn't enough. It has to actually harm the ecosystem that it's not native to and has been introduced to in some way, shape, or form. So it's a non-native species that's causing harm, either directly or indirectly or both, to this new ecosystem it's been introduced to. That's an invasive species.
Right. And it's not just, do we grow rice in the United States?
Sure.
Okay. And it doesn't have to be from another country. It can, like we said, it's an ecosystem. So it could be something from one area of the United States to another area of the United States.
Right.
Or from Mexico to the United States.
Right, like trout from the Great Lakes, that's their natural habitat, so they're fine. But you take that same trout and put it in, I think the example given was the Yellowstone River, and they're now competing for habitat and food with the local trout. That's an invasive species.
Right. They come in all shapes and sizes, as our very own article says.